effect that two 7-footers can have on a game. You know, a few years ago, Robbie Hummel was playing your 5 in certain situations.
Right.
But tonight I thought it just seemed like pass after pass, shot after shot of theirs, they were in contorted states, altered
Right.
because of those big guys. Just from your perspective, that was just really evident, wasn't it? Could you talk about that?
Well, I thought, first of all, we wanted to make an effort to get the ball inside as much as we could and be more patient. I think you saw, and at times when you do that, you get a little deliberate. But I'd rather be that way and then play through the shot clock a little bit. I just think those guys have, the right of first refusal. I didn't think they did a very good job tonight finishing, especially AJ. But I thought AJ's effort was good. And I think as long as he has a high level of effort, he's going to be productive. And so they struggled to finish around the basket. I mean, we had some block shots, but I thought we altered more shots than we blocked. But I just liked the effort from both those big guys. I thought they ran harder in transition. I thought they changed a lot of shots. And, for those two guys, in 40 minutes getting 23 points, 17 rebounds, and 6 blocks, and not finishing well. So, we just got to keep working on, being able to play through the post. I think that we're going to see a lot of different looks. And then I think we'll knock down more shots. And our shot selection, we still go through ruts where our shot selection's not great. We got to do a better job of starting the second half.
When they got within 7 the other day, could have gone through their mind. What was different between today and what happened on Saturday?
Well, a lot of things were the same, starting the second half up to that point. And that's what I, really tried to emphasize. This is good for our team to see how we'll respond to it. And I just thought we did a better job making a couple shots really helps you, and we were able to make a couple shots after that. But doing a better job of just getting some stops and keeping the ball in front of us and not having some simple breakdowns on the defensive end and then just executing offensively.
Both you and the players talked the other night about the inability to make stops and how crucial that was. What did you like better defensively tonight? Obviously, the big guys were a
Right.
presence with the shot blocking early, but just overall.
Yeah, well, it's a different system, that one team's running versus the other. Theirs was more of a perimeter-oriented thing. They really run, I'd say, 75% of what they do into Forbes, into post-up. He had 25 and 10 other night. He's really played well. And him getting into foul trouble for them, they don't have another guy like that to go to. They move their 4 to their 5, and he's not the same type of low-post guy, even though he's a productive player. I just thought that was probably the crucial point of the game, was getting him into foul trouble. And then we really try to put more emphasis on sticking with those perimeter guys and not let them get threes. I still thought they broke us down off the dribble too much. We got to do a better job of containing the dribble.
Matt, go ahead, Brian. The fact that you didn't start AJ, you didn't start Kendall, and they responded. Can you talk about that a little bit? And in
Right.
a way, Isaac in particular played well, but both Isaac and PJ.
Right. Well, I thought, Isaac deserved to start. I thought he'd been very productive. He shot 73% from the field. He's leading us in scoring. He leads us in rebounds per minute. He's turned the ball over 10 times coming into this game, and 5 were in one game. So he really, in 7 games, he only turned the ball over 5 times, which is great for a huge post like that gets a lot of attention. So I just thought he simply deserved it. AJ at times has responded to coming off the bench, where he's had a pretty good game or two, and he's done better there. But it was more of just him deserving it. And I thought Kendall's shot selection. Kendall's in a little bit of a mix because he's improved as an offensive player, but yet now putting the ball on the floor, just because you can drive and shoot a pull-up or drive and shoot a layup, sometimes you can't. And when that happens, you now have to be a good decision maker. And those are the type of things that don't happen in an individual workout. You know what I mean? And so now for him, that's kind of got to be his next step. If he's going to be more aggressive off the dribble, he's got to be a better decision maker. And then at the end other night, we at NC State and in this game, I thought he just took some ill-advised shots, and it's something we'd really talked to him about not, feeling like he's got to take contested shots all the time, and he's continued to do so. And so for him, and sometimes it's learning that hard lesson. But we got to get the right guys out there. We got to get everybody right. And I think for us, trying to get the right group of guys. It's hard to feel good about yourself as a player when you don't play 25 to 30 minutes. It just is. But if you don't separate yourself as one of those guys, you're not going to play that many minutes. It's a pretty simple concept from afar. It's not simple in their mind when they're actually going through it. So we got to get some guys to either separate themselves, or we got to get some guys to really accept their roles and understand, one night I might play 10 minutes, might play 15, other nights 25, and then still be a good teammate through that. That's part of, competitive sports, competitive team sports. And, we got good guys in our locker room. I thought Bryson tonight, I thought he really gave us a shot in the arm and gave us some energy and really played hard in that second half, and that really helped us. So, but I think Kendall is going to be fine. We got to get him to be right, because he's really made some improvements as a player.
What makes Octi such a productive, good rebounder?
He just goes and gets it. And he gets guarded by a lot of point guards, and point guards are terrible at boxing out. And so a lot of point guards aren't used to doing it. So we've just told him just to, kind of center himself and, pick up the flight of the basketball and, and be aggressive with it. He picks the ball up anyways, defensively. So if he doesn't get it, he's right there and he hounds the point guard. So it's really worked for us. He's had 9 and 10 the past 2 games. He's traditionally not a point guard. And so he's always been a guy that's played like, the 2-3 spot, and he's always rebounded. So this is very natural for him. So we're getting some, kind of reminds me of Porter Roberts when he played here. He was a really good on-ball defender. He was a really good rebounder for Purdue, more of a defensive rebounder than offensive rebounder, if you go back and look at his stats. But he wasn't the quintessential type point guard, but he was very, very productive in that position. And I think that's the way John is. John's very, very productive as a player.
This is just kind of about the 5-day stretch you guys have here. What's the biggest challenge to playing 3 games in 5 days this early in the season?
So far for us, we went to Maui and then came back and had a big game against NC State. And they responded. In that 4-game stretch, we won 3 out of the 4. Then obviously, I would say the biggest challenge has been we've been in pretty good positions at halftime. Even though we were only up 8, we should have been up about 15 against North Florida. Is getting them to whether it's regrouping or focusing or whatever word I'm searching for, is just to play more efficient and have more of a focus on the defensive end to start that second half. That's probably our biggest challenge right now. And I just felt like North Florida, it's a byproduct of youth, not always to be dialed in. And we just weren't dialed in against them, especially starting that second half. And you could just feel it. I always compare it to the walls in Star Wars. When they come in as a coach, that's how you feel. And sometimes you can't stop that, especially when you've used a couple timeouts to keep possession of the ball when the ball went to the corner a couple times. And now you don't have some of those timeouts to help them through that process. I know you guys enjoy a good Star Wars analogy.
Whoever wants to answer. Saturday, the last 10 minutes obviously didn't go your guys' way. Today, you guys, I think IPFW gets within 7, and then you pretty much do everything right from there on out. What was the difference today?
We learned from our mistakes from Saturday. We learned you can't take any team for granted. There's people that can play everywhere. So, and we learned that lesson the hard way, but a good team adjusts to that stuff, and that's what we did today.
Good answer.
Defensively, what was better tonight than the way things went on Saturday?
I think we did a really good job staying into the ball and Big staying in line with the ball. And really Post D became in trouble at one point for me. And, I felt like, we started doing a better job of it. AJ especially did. And, defensively, if they kind of were big man oriented, if they couldn't get into their big man, they kind of threw up bad shots. So I felt like that was a big part of it. And, rebounding on the defensive and offensive end was pretty good. So,
AJ, when you guys, you and Dakota or Isaac are dominating inside, it just seems Isaac started touching on it, but you just disrupt the other team, everything they're trying to do. They just kind of looked a little bit panicky, especially when they would try to take the ball inside and then throw it back out. you talk about how much that affected the game in your opinion?
Just us just coming in, like he started out the game good, just keeping the ball high, just scoring. After, like, you just see him, we keep scoring on the inside, you know, draw everybody in, and then just open up shots for Dakota. Even though they wasn't, everybody, the outside shots wasn't falling today, even though it's still going to open up and they're going to be ready for it next game.
AJ, you and Kendall didn't start, but obviously you played a lot. Did that provide a little bit of a motivation to not
Always.
start for the first time?
Always. It doesn't really bother me, but it started motivation because Coach had to talk to me about it. He talked to me about it after the game. He pretty much told me, like, I'm not producing, I'm not doing what I need to do, so he's going to start Isaac. And I was like, all right, that's a wake-up call. But coming off the bench, it doesn't really bother me. I know I still got to play hard at the end of the day.
Because you and Kendall both responded. You had your game, Kendall
Right.
had a big game.
He still had a good game, don't worry about it. He missed some shots, but
Isaac, just being able to get that first start for you, what did it mean?
it was pretty good. You know, some of my family was there to see me start, so it was a pretty special moment. But, you know, I think my hands got really, really cold to start with, so I think I missed the first 3 shots. And then, you know, I finally started hitting. I hit like 2 before I came out, and then my hands started getting warm, and I felt a little bit better. And I came back in and did a little bit more work. And then, you know, after that, I was really just trying to take up space so other people could, you know, get offense going.
Dakota, there was that stretch. They'd gotten within 7. You guys maybe had bogged down a little bit on offense against their zone. I think you hit a 3 off that assist from Bryson, and then you inbounded to Vince for that little hook shot. Did you kind of sense at the time when those 2 plays were made that perhaps that's what you guys needed to get going?
Yeah, that was a critical time for us. You know, it was kind of like North Florida. The game's still hanging in the balance. You don't really know what's going to happen. And we responded big. I did hit a shot, and Vince had a great shot and off the inbounds play. So yeah, that was a big time for us, and I think it set the game away for us.
Just going back to Isaac, on your first start, is it mentally, psychologically, whatever, is it different preparing when you know you're going to start?
Not really. You know, I came in, I did my routine. You know, I did everything I did normally, and you know, it just came time when my name was called, and that's when I wasn't really nervous per se, but like I don't know, my hands got cold, and it felt good. That's all I can say. I mean, it's just mentally though, I felt like I was there. I was starting for a reason. You know, I needed to come in and do what I needed to do.
Is there anything different at all being in the game from the get-go instead of coming in when there's already points scored, there's already...
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that. You know, whenever I come off the bench, I kind of let him wear them down, you know, and they get tired and they don't pay attention, and that's why I come in and get a good burst. And then they're like, oh, crap, now we got to worry about both of them. And then, you know, you know, being in the game from the get-go, it kind of makes them have to you kind of have to test the boundaries of the other team first to see what you're going to do, you know, to start with. And, you know, I wasn't used to that, so I think it was kind of offsetting for me. I usually, whenever I come off the bench, I have Coach Brantley sitting there talking to me in my ear, telling me what I need to do as soon as I go in. And I go in, I do exactly what he says, and lo and behold, I come out with, you know, like yesterday, 12, 14 points, you know, a couple rebounds. And it's different, but, you know, all the same when it comes down to the second half, you know, finishing the game.
AJ, you've been through the ups and downs now of your 3rd season now. Why was it important for the team to come out tonight and play better than they did Saturday and get a win?
Because we didn't want to get yelled at personally. But just to come out and make up for the last game we did, we played horrible in transition and just like defensive-wise. So we just know we had to come out of this team. We kind of knew that they fed the post more than outside shots. They kind of just get it in more to their big guys. So we knew we had to just take that away, and then everybody else do their job by containing the dribble. We had a hard time at the first half and a little bit in the second half, but we got to close it off and we got the win.
One more.
Free throws too.
John Alectius mentioned after the game that you guys needed to pick up your play. What has he kind of done as a leader coming in and given his expertise as like a senior coming in and helping you guys out?
He does everything. He don't talk back. He do everything Coach say. He just pretty much perfect. He hustle. He do everything he need to do. And I just set an example for everybody else. He set an example for me. Even I've been here 3 years, set an example for them. So it's just great. Unless y'all want to add on to it.
It's also pretty nice to have a point guard that gets 8-9 rebounds a game.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.